There were a group of people that said, we had this opportunity to protect this land that became the West Woods and some other parks.
I am a firm believer that this land cannot be reduplicated if we don't save it now. If it goes to another use, that opportunity is gone.
We wanted to expand the educational programming from the beginning. We believe we could do more.
I first joined the board because I believe greatly in educating kids in the outdoors. And what brought me back was that exact same thing. I think now more than ever, kids need some more time outdoors and less time in front of screens.
The foundation for Geauga Parks matters because of what its impact is in the community, bringing the community together for nature.
The foundation preserves the land. It keeps the beautiful woods and the wetlands.
Well, I would like to say a huge thank you, not only current, but past folks that have become a part of the parks world. We are so proud of the parks in Geauga County.
I think the fact that we have a legacy here that's not ours, but it is Geauga County's, and a group of people for the last 35 years with a foundation have really created something that generations to come can enjoy.
I think one of the earlier board meetings, I witnessed the passion and the commitment to the organization from its trustees, like Jim and Nancy Patterson, John and Pat Leech, Tom Curtin, and so many others that have been a part of the organization. The engagement of the board was so critical in terms of our work, and whether it's not only raising money, but planning for the use of that money, reaching out into the community, establishing credibility, and beginning to tell that story.
I was fortunate enough to become a trustee many, many years ago. I just knew that that would be a volunteer job that I would thoroughly enjoy and help raise money to open more parks and have more people have the opportunity to not go very far at all, to enjoy the park and take a walk. And I hope when they take a walk in the woods, they think, oh, thank heavens this was preserved and conserved for me and for my whole family.
My father believed in giving back to community. He felt he had been given enormous privilege. He believed that one of the obligations was to contribute back to your community. He loved people and he loved land. And so, in a way, in the final chapter of his life, the focusing on parks for people was a combination of the two things that he cared the most about: beautiful properties, land, and people.
Bill Ginn said the park really needs to have that property. So he talked to some people and decided that we might be able to raise some funds if ASM would be willing to sell us, being the park, the property instead of selling it to the developer. And ASM, thinking the park would be a much better neighbor, decided to go ahead with it. And Bill Ginn, he had to mortgage his children, his grandchildren, his wife, his home, and everything he ever had. And he was a very generous and wise person, and also a very good friend.
The Rookery property was put up for sale by a big Cleveland-based corporation. He didn't need that 400-some acre property, and the opportunities were bountiful. And we just came up with strategies to make as many of those opportunities a reality as we could.
I remember my oldest son coming home with his binoculars, and I asked him, "Are you sure you're allowed to keep those?" And he told me and assured me they were. That's what got me very involved with not only nature scopes, but the foundation.
The ability to change people and to educate and to make them compassionate and caring about the environment and nature, to me, that's like the stuff that matters, because that's like generational kinds of things. And we've had kids come back who are not kids anymore. They are in college or off into the working world, and they talk about how that program changed their life.
During the course of the Nature Scopes project, I couldn't even fathom how many binoculars we've given away, literally thousands. And outside of the foundation, I do a lot of work with the Boy Scouts, and I can't tell you how many teenage Boy Scouts come to our events still carrying those binoculars from the 5th grade and using them every day.
Chip Henry was highly respected in Geauga County, and unfortunately Chip was tragically killed. There was a feeling that we wanted to do something to recognize him. About a half a dozen of us that got together, I remember, for breakfast in Chardon and said, what can we do for Chip Henry? And we came up with this idea of starting the Chip Henry Institute for Outdoor Adventures.
Many of the participants, they haven't experienced those kinds of activities. So that makes it possible for them to open up a whole new world.
The foundation continues to do great work, and not just in our county parks. We have been working on the new walking trails at the hospital, Geauga.
Part of our mission is to support organizations, not only the Geauga Park District, but other organizations that need help, that need support. And this is a fitting example of partnering with Geauga Medical Center. And it's great to have a resource like that here and to make made possible by the Foundation for Geauga Parks.
I just want to say to all the former trustees, all the current trustees, that thank you for the work you've done in the past, thank you for the work you're doing today, and please continue to help and step up to do this very important work that makes Geauga County such a special place to be.
Not everyone can give money, but you can give time, you can give a shout out, you can spread the word. As long as we can continue to know that we're doing really good things that are making our community better, thank you for doing that.
We have a lot of work ahead of us to do. You've been instrumental in our successes in the past. We need you here with us for the future. We're proud of what we've done. We're proud of what you have done.
The foundation and all our donors have made such a huge impact to the Park District. There are so many things the Park District could not have accomplished without their support.
On behalf of my family, and I know if my father were with us, he would want me to say thank you to everybody who has worked so hard to make a difference in this community.
Thank you for everything you've been doing to protect and conserve Geauga County. Really appreciate the fact that there are people who are willing and able to keep the progress going.
They put their heart and soul into helping make this better and stretch out all across the county. So my thank you to each person that they were willing to give of their time and dollars.
It represents something that was here long before we were here and will hopefully be here far longer than any one of us personally is here, but into the future generations to say, I remember that I was told by my grandparents or great-grandparents how nice this place was, and it still is.
They've done a very, very good job. They've gotten the whole community support behind them.
That without their commitment, without their enthusiasm, and without their volunteering their time, effort, and financial resources, that this would not be. You can look back on all that's been done and say, I had a part in this. I did it. I helped to do it. And I hope they realize that they made a difference.